Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Rosy Adha Wulandari from Matematika Education State University of Jakarta. First of all, let me thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala because of His blessing and able to come here to presentation about equivalent fraction. Check it out. What are equivalent fractions? Equivalent fractions state that two or more than two fractions are said to be equal if both result the same fraction after simplification. Let us say A over B and C over D are two fractions. After the simplification of these fractions, both result in equivalent fractions, say E over F, then they are equal to each other. For example, the equivalent fraction of a half is 2 over 4 because if we simplify 2 over 4, then the result fraction is the same. The biggest question here can be why do they have equal values in spite of having different numbers? The answer to this question is that as the numerators and denominators are not coprime numbers, therefore they have a common multiple which on division gives exactly the same value. Example of equivalent fraction. Take for an example, a half is equal to 2 over 4 is equal to of 4 over 8, but it is clearly seen that the above fraction have different numerators and denominators, dividing both numerators and denominators by their common factor we have in the same way if we simplify 2 over 4 it can get a half. Equivalent fraction of a mixed fraction. Let us consider a mixed fraction to find its equivalent fraction. Mixed fraction 1 and a half. Now convert this fraction into an improper fraction. 1 and a half is equal to the result of 1 times 2 plus 1 is divided by 2. Then the question is equal to the result of 2 plus 1 is divided by 2. The question is equal to 3 over 2. The equivalent fraction for the above fraction are 3 over 2 is equal to 3 times 2 and the product is divided by the product of 2 times 2 and the result is equal to 6 over 4. 3 over 2 is equal to 3 times 3 and the product is divided by product of 2 times 3 and the result is equal to 9 over 6. 3 over 2 is equal to 3 times 4 and the product is divided by the product of 2 times 4 and the result is equal to 12 is to 12 over 8 and so on. How to find equivalent fractions? Equivalent fractions are evaluated by multiplying or dividing both the numerators and denominators by the same number. Therefore, equivalent fraction when reduced to their simplified value will all be the same. Multiplying numerators and denominators by the same number. For example, consider fraction 1/5. Multiplying numerators and denominators with 2, we get 1 over 5 times 2 over 2 is equal to 2 over 10. Multiplying numerator and denominator with 3, we get 1 over 5 times 3 over 3 is equal to 3 over 15. Multiplying numerators and denominators with 4, we get 1 over 5 times 4 over 4 is equal to 4 over 20. Therefore, we can conclude that a fifth is equal to 2 over 10 is equal to 3 over 15 is equal to 4 over 20. Dividing numerators and denominators by the same number. For example, we need to find the equivalent fraction of 18 over 32. Find the highest common factor of 18 and 32. Now, divide the numerators and denominators by 2 to get the equivalent fraction of 18 over 32. 8 is divided by 2 and the question is divided by the question of 32 divided by 2 equals to 9 to 16. Hence 9 over 16 is equivalent to 18 over 32. Notes: we can only multiply or divide by the same numbers to get an equivalent fraction and not addition or subtraction. Simplification to get equivalent numbers can be done to a point where both the numerators and denominators should still be whole numbers. Equivalent fraction chart. Let us see the equivalent fraction for a unit fraction. In the next methods to determine equivalent fraction. How can we determine if two fractions are equivalent or not? It is possible by these methods. Method 1, make the denominators the same. Method 2, cross multiply. Method 3, convert to decimal. Method 1, by making the denominators the same, we can evaluate if two fractions are equivalent. For example, find if 2 over 3 and 6 over 9 are equivalent. Least common multiple of 3 and 9 is equal to 9. Multiply 2 over 3 by 3 over 3 to make the denominators equal to 9. 2 over 3 times 3 over 3 is equal to is over 9. Hence, by making the denominators the same, we can see 2 over 3 and 6 over 9 are equivalent fractions. Method 2. Given two fractions, a half and 3 over 6, cross multiply both the fraction to get. If one is multiplied by 6, then the product is equal to 6. If 2 is multiplied by 3, then the product is equal to 6. Since both the values are equal, therefore a half and 3 over 6 are equivalent fractions. Last but not least, method 3. If two fractions are given, we can simply find their decimals to check if they are equivalent fractions. Let us check if quarter and 3 over 12 are equivalent fraction by converting them in decimal form. A quarter is equal to 0.25, 3 over 2 is equal to 0.25. Since both the fraction result in the same decimal, thus they are equivalent. So, that's all from me for my presentation. Hope it can be understood and useful for all of you. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.